Hello, my friends. Jacob's here one more time. Thank you for pressing play, for spending a little time with me. I wish things in our country were going a little bit smoother, a little bit better than they are right now. But things are the way they are. And I can't say that I haven't warned everybody that they were coming. Had vibes about this stuff going back years ago. Things that I warned about now are basically in the news. One of the things just happened with Pam Bondi.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society. We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
She came out after this terrible incident with Charlie Kirk and, all of the outrage that it's caused, and no one seems to be cooling down the temperature. No one seems to be telling people to calm down and to love each other and to accept each other and to forgive each other and try to find some common ground. Well, she said that now hate speech is going to be targeted, that they're going to be looking for people online, and they're going to be, there's going to be a price to pay for any kind of hate speech. Now, right now, you can't be prosecuted for it. You can basically say a lot of things, but you can't say some things that literally incite violence. There's a fine line there, and it's a slippery slope. But now that Pam Bondi has come out and said this, well, a lot of people are, they're up in arms about this. This is something that I said was coming. This is something that I said was coming many times. I actually even talked about this with the Donut on a show called The Divided States of X, where I felt like the X platform was kind of encouraging such hate. I felt like it was an open invitation for people to show their ugliest colors and to share that openly. And I told everyone, I said, this reminds me a lot of the story of Jehu, who was brought in to basically overthrow the Baal worshippers in the land. And he told everybody to come on over and come to the Baal temple. And that's where everybody came, and that's where everyone was destroyed. And now, all of that data that has been collected by the X algorithms, it's probably pretty easy for people to see that what they've shared online now has been collected, gathered, and probably stored, and can now be used to, come after these people, which is what we're seeing is happening in England and other places around the world. It's no wonder. I said this. I told everybody, take a look. I put a post out on X where I said, there's a story in the Bible of this the guy that God said to the prophet, go and tell this dude, his name's Jehu, we want you to be king. And because the country got so corrupt, everything got so messed up that they needed this guy, Jehu. He wasn't a great guy. He was like a businessman. He had his own army. He wasn't great. He wasn't like a great godly person. But, when behind the scenes they were saying, we want you to be the next leader, he came in and he made it out like he wanted everybody to come on in. Come on in. We're going to have a big celebration. We want you all to just share your beliefs on the Lord Baal, because they were all into Baal worship. So it was kind of like they opened a platform for every kind of hate, every kind of idolatrous belief, so that when everybody was there and they had their free speech, they knew who to just get rid of. I think this whole thing with X right now, I think what you're seeing, I think it's like a honeypot. I think it's like it's a trap. And I believe that it's more like there's something that's behind the scenes. Like, I believe very much that there's a God that's in control, but I believe there's something behind the scenes that is orchestrating this, where people are starting to feel so comfortable. You should see the things. I'm not even Jewish, but Jacob Israel and, big nose, that'll get you something, right? So a lot of people, you should see the hate and the anti-Semitism that I see, the pictures they send me, and I think, I'm Italian and Irish, you meatball. It's like, what are you doing? What are you saying these things for? But I feel like, what if they've opened the gates to all this stuff, so that all of the offenders can be very, very well documented, because all that data is being sucked in by the most powerful AI. And who's to say,
yeah,
who's to say that there isn't going to be that moment, that Jehu moment, where all the prophets of Baal are just gone? We'll never hear from these people again on social media. I cannot see this continuing, and I'm not for censorship. But I think that this is what the overall thrust is. I think that it's kind of like, we're going to give you enough rope to hang yourself, like they did with Haman when it came to Esther. We wanted Esther dead. You wanted all the Jews dead. What happens? You end up hanging in the gallows. And I think that spiritually, that's the day that we're in. Because really, in Christ, there is no Jew, there is no Gentile, there is no male, there is no female, there's no black, there's no white. We're all one in Christ, in this country, we're given the right to free speech. We're allowed to say what, express our hearts and our ideas without fear of prosecution. But a lot of those ideas, sadly today, are very hateful. I myself have been the target of such, because people ignorantly think that since my last name on here is Israel, that I am Jewish. And of course, everyone wants to blame Jewish people for what's going on today. X is just a breeding ground for this. I've watched influencers that I thought had potential slowly but surely slip down that slippery slope and become possessed by this mind worm. Elon told everybody to resist the current thing. I understood it to be an algorithm that was going to program people to believe and think and act a certain way. Things need to change, because here's the deal. I put a post out on X responding to a very liberal influencer known as the Krasenstein twins, Brian, and he put a post out about the Trump administration and how it was trying to, his words, I believe, were whitewash history. He's trying to pull a lot of the stuff from the history that, from the museums and everything else, trying to take away from the fact that maybe George Washington had slaves, trying to basically sanitize our history, is what Brian Krasenstein was saying. My response was, imagine a world where white, black, brown children are raised and they're not taught how terrible whites were to them, or how terrible blacks were to them, or how terrible browns were to them, or how terrible the Chinese were, or you understand how this goes. Children, my belief is, they don't come into this world to hate. They innately have a love for each other. You see children playing with each other of different races, different colors, different creeds. They don't think the worst. They don't act the worst. They love each other. They hug each other. They encourage each other. But somewhere along the line, that changes. And every year, we have a tendency of telling people that have, we'll say, black skin or brown skin, how terrible whites were to them. And in other countries, Jewish people will say how terrible Germans were to them. And then some people will say how terrible Jewish people were to them. You see, hate is a learned behavior. And this is what history has become. We have to find a way, in my opinion, to teach history without ingraining a deep sense of hate and intolerance and rage towards others. A sense of equity. God doesn't judge by the color of a person's skin. God judges by the heart, the thoughts of an individual, the actions of an individual. And wouldn't that be a wonderful thing if that's something that we could do? I don't have the answers. I don't think that, the things that have happened in history should just be erased. But my question was, imagine if two children grew up, different colors, and not one of them knew that the other was someone that they should dislike. Imagine a world where we just understood that what we do to others, we do to ourselves. Jesus taught this. He said, when I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I was cold, you didn't give me clothes to wear. When I was in need, you didn't help me. When I was in prison, you didn't visit me. And the people asked, they said, well, when were you in prison and we didn't visit? When were you hungry and we didn't feed you? He said, what you've done to the least of these, you've done to me. This is the way we need to teach our children, that we are one and the same. It's a little bit trivial to say, oh, you know, we all bleed the same color. But we're all the same. We're all children of God. And we need to love and appreciate and respect each other, regardless of how we look, regardless of where we come from. But today online, you know, there is a lot of hate. Today online, you see more and more people trying to collectively grab their group and elevate their group outside of other groups. You need to have pride in your race. You need to have pride in this. You need to have pride in that. And pride, well, after that comes the fall. And we're in the midst of a fall right now. Now, I don't know, you know, if what Trump is doing is the right thing. I would love to see a day where children could be raised to not think that the world was out to get them. To not think that if you're on a train with someone who has a different color skin, that you're going to be robbed. Or if you go to a job and there's someone there with a different color skin, that you're not going to get the job based on how you look. I would like to see a day like that. We live in a society today where even these ideas, that when I express them, you should see the amount of pushback and hate that I got for just saying think. Would things be better if we didn't teach each other how horrible our ancestors were? Wouldn't things be better if we judged people based on their deeds now, their actions now? So there is going to be a big push online. I don't know if it's going to be illegal to say certain things. I don't know if it's going to be one of these things where they're going to crack down, and if you posted something dumb back in the day because you weren't thinking and you wanted to blame others for your problems, that you're not going to have a knock at your door by the FBI. I'm not saying that. But back in the day, I had a vibe that this is what this was all about. They all do work together, you know. I mean, there's a world order that is in charge right now, and it is taking form. Things are going to be different. I've said this for a long time. I'm not in agreement with these things. I just think that, you know, when I see the writing on the wall and I say, hey, it's not going to be tolerated anymore. Your views are not going to be permitted in the public square. If they're going to enrage and hurt and they seek to diminish the life of others. What we just saw happen with Charlie Kirk. It's ironic because the question was about gun violence. It was about the right to free speech. This is what they were talking about, the Second Amendment. Right before this happened, this is the topic. And I wonder why. I'm going to be discussing more of this tomorrow on Patreon. We're having a meetup at 12 Eastern Standard Time. So if you're on Patreon, make sure that you can swing on by. I don't know if you can make it, use your phone or whatever, come by on your lunch break. How this story is very connected to a story in Scripture that I can't wait to share. And it's going to open our eyes to a lot, because the day we're in, if you haven't noticed, it's changing. And I'm excited for it, even though it seems very scary right now. I'm excited for it. Unlike the other channels that are going to get you all freaked out and worried about World War III and all of this stuff, all I'm going to tell you is you get your house in order, you're going to be okay. We're going to see. Big things are happening, my friends. And I'd love to know what your thoughts are. So do me a favor, because I'm pulling up to work right now. Do me a favor, leave me a comment. If you want to support the channel, best way to do it, of course, hit the like, leave a comment, share it around. If you want to donate on PayPal, please do. There's a link in the description. There's a lot of ways. Patreon, sign up, $5 and more, you get into the Zoom. It's not like a thing that I promised would be happening all the time. Really, Patreon is just if you want to support the work that I'm doing. It's appreciated. I just like to get together and I like to talk. And I think that today we need to get together and talk. So, I love each and every one of you. I'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to have the best day ever. Love each other. Forgive each other. Don't think people that are different than you are the enemies. Instead, lift them up and show them that we're all the same. Love each and every one of you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
The teachers teach for hire. The evangelists speak of either no responsibility or infinite fire. For gain they remain, for name they claim the truth while proving to be liars. And I, Lord, oh, I feel like a spider and a giant seeking day and night and feeling like I'm never gonna find it. Because your truth, oh Lord, few seem to wanna buy it. They build out of the reputations they've killed a kingdom that will become a funeral pyre. For the behavior of those who claim to be God, I have truly grown tired. When will you show the world if they be corrupt they will be fired? Or else, how will they know your kingdom in this life? They never know until this type of behavior they retire. And I, Lord, oh, I feel like a spider and a giant seeking day and night and feeling like I'm never gonna find it. Because your truth, oh Lord, few seem to wanna buy it. But here I am, oh Lord, here I am, a broken and beaten, prayerful man who prays he's never misleading. Here I am, do your will, but please help me and others to find its meaning. Show them, grow them, lead them, for you are far better than me. A worthless worm agonizing to create harm to me. So one day, they'll say the God of Jacob is the God of eternity.